Okay, you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kiki LaFleur. If you're here for the full glam, don't go nowhere. We're going very pink with the blush, going highlight crazy. I'm gonna show you how to use your highlights to its full potential, and we're gonna push these eyeshadows to a whole nother level, you guys. So if I was you, I would subscribe and keep watching. Look, I'm telling you right now, go grab a drink, a snack, because I will not miss a beat. The base of my glow is going to start with JLo's Beauty, that star filter. It gives you such a healthy bronzing glow, and it helps to prime your face as well. I swear my confidence go up 10x every time I wear a complexion booster like this. It just helps to even out my skin tone. It's one of my favorite tricks for discoloration. Okay, so let's get into the full coverage. I'm going in with underlining Hide foundation. This is the Invisible Oil-Free Medium to Full Coverage. I'm gonna warm that in my hand using the Sephora's VIP Mini Flawless Airbrush. I can't even tell that I have anything on. Look how good that matches. This is definitely my winter shade. Don't forget your neck. Everything has to match, you guys. Then I'm gonna go in with this cream and bronzing contour palette by Give. I believe that's G-I-V-G, like how you pronounce it would be G-I-V-E. I'm not sure, but I do want to try these shades. I haven't had a chance yet. This is a contour and this is a bronzing, and I thought it would be perfect for this look. So I'm just going to use my 247 brush just to contour the cheekbone. And that's the other thing about this. I knew it wasn't going to be too dark in color, which is the other reason why I wanted to try it, because sometimes it's okay to go a little bit lighter, especially for the nose area. I was really excited to apply in this area because it's just a nice shadow. Like, I'm always on the search for a contour, cream contour for my nose, because I already have one for in powder. When it comes to the cream, but I'm also gonna play this around the hairline. It may be too light. I feel like this is perfect if I wanted to do a soft look, but I wanted to give it a chance for the rest of the face, but I am pale. This is a glam look, so I'm definitely gonna try this though, but because it's a glam look, I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna add more color, add more pigment, but for the nose, it's perfect. It's perfect. I'm actually gonna finish. This might just be something I use for my nose, real talk. So I'm switching to this e.l.f. Halo Beauty contour. I've really been enjoying this felt tip and the shade itself. This is in shade Tan Deep. That's what we're talking about. It has to be deeper as much as I want to go lighter, but I will try it, the lighter shade, during a soft glam, because that's when it's really important not to go too heavy. I'm just going to use my Real Technique setting brush to blend this out. Also, I'm going to put on my lip because I just love this technique. I really have a couple of staples of techniques that I just cannot not do. You know what I mean? Like, I have to. I just have to. I can't help myself. Like, look at it. Look at my lip. It look like I got a lip liner. Look, it makes it so freaking juicy. I'm also going to add this contour onto the lid. I'm trying to do a thin line, but I'm also going to add this onto the center of the nose just for that indentation, as well as here. I just want a little bit of darker contour. That way I don't have to go too much with the powder. Just going to blend this out with the same setting brush, so add some depth into that crease. But I'm not too concerned with blending it out too much, as well as down the bridge of my nose, and really pinching the brush to make sure that I'm not widening the area more than I want to, so I can blend it out and still have that highlight remain. To camouflage, I'm going in with this Kevyn Aucoin color corrector, and I'm just gonna get underneath the eye just to help get rid of these dark circles. For my concealer, I've been really going back into products that I used to love, and one of them was Erase Paste by Benefit. When I tell you, it may look like this is too light for me, but when I tell you I did not care, I did not care. So I'm going to continue the trend and not care. I'm going to use my concealer brush to pack that on. Like, it's so scary, but it's not. Like, I was never scared of it. Like, trust me, mainly because it goes on so sheer. That's what it was. So I'm gonna use my concealer brush by Real Technique. This is the 242. Just really packing this on first in the area that I want it to be really concentrated, especially underneath that color corrector. I don't want to move things around too much. And then once I have it where I want it, I'm just gonna then bring it out into the outer corners of the eye. And I'm not being super neat with this because I like to go back and forth and just blend my colors together, especially when it comes to the contour and highlight as well as the cream blush. I'm just gonna make sure I go down the bridge of my nose because I like to pinch my nose with this highlight as well. I'm also gonna take whatever is left on the brush and just hit the middle of my forehead just to highlight this area so I don't have to add more product. There's definitely enough on the brush that I can pick up, as well as on my chin. Now I'm gonna take what is on that concealer brush and just go down the bridge of my nose. I'm trying to go in a straight line. It's not always easy, and I really want to end in a point in the center, as well as dab my nose because like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I'm gonna let that sit there and marinate in itself. I'm also gonna take some of this onto the lower part of my mouth to highlight, as well as give me a nice strong contour, as well as the center of my chin. And then I'm going to drag this up, and this is sheer. I didn't put more product on the brush. I don't want it to be too contrasty. I'm really allowing this to glide up, and it's going to strengthen that contour and just really make my face a bit more chiseled and snatched. For my blush, I wanted something a bit more bubbly, so when I think of bubbly, I automatically go to like a bright pink. This is the Fenty cream blush. This is in Bikini Martini. I'm gonna use my 𝒏𝒒𝒄𝒄 favorite blush brush to use for creams. I love how it picks up. I love how it blends it out. Like, this is my favorite, you guys. Like, I love using cream every single time now because I just have this brush. I don't know, the other brushes, I don't know, I didn't have a brush that I really love to use with cream, so it really made sometimes the blending a bit more tedious, while this is effortless. So yeah, I have oily lids, so I'm gonna go in with my Ardell in her prime eyeshadow primer, and I'm just going to blend that out with a concealer brush. This is by Eco Tool. I have oily lids, so it's a must. Okay, so I'm curious, do you guys have the same issue, you oily skin beauties, or is it just me? And is there something else that you use that work? Because I would love to know. Okay, so for the eyes, this is where you might need a snack because I'm about to go in, okay? Just like the wings about to be snatched. So for my first color, I'm going in with the Loaded palette by NARS. I'm gonna use my Ace of Beauty eyeshadow brush for the transitional color, and I'm going in with this shade right here. So I'm concentrating this color onto the crease, and any other colors that follow this is going to go into the wing. Next, I'm going in with this shade right here, and again I'm going to concentrate that above this shade, this transition shade in the crease. So now I'm gonna stop and I'm just going to blend this out. I'm going to go back and forth with the foundation brush just to soften out the edges, as well as on the chin. And for the nose, I'm just gonna like use the concealer brush and just dab it in and really just soften it out, up and out. And that bronzing brush, I'm just gonna go down the side of the nose just so that it all blends in with each other and not be too crazy, too far left or right, you know, just simple blend. It's a bit of a rough blend because I'm gonna go in with powder, but I like to kind of see what's happening and fix as I go, and because it's cream, it's easy to blend in, period. So now that that is done, I'm gonna go in with my angle brush and those same colors I'm gonna use on the wing to match the look. When it comes to the wing, I like to look straight because looking down confuses me and I don't ever really feel it goes the way I want it to. And because this shade is light, I'm not too concerned of it being perfect, but I definitely want to make sure that I have a highlight there. And what I'm doing with this as well, I'm gonna put this on the lower lash line. Now I know it's lighter, it's not darker, but stay with me, you guys, stay with me. And I'm gonna create a wing as best as I can, looking straight. I'm also gonna go into that next color. I'm just gonna overlap the top line, just wing it out. Just kind of like follow the natural shape of my eye. This shade is lighter for a reason, because if you make a mistake, it's easier to fix. But then there's a balance between the top lid and the wing. I'm also gonna wing this out even further. More of an, it kind of feels unnatural, but trust me, like, it's because it's a lighter color, you can't really go wrong. It's not gonna look crazy. Going in with my crossed color brush just to blend out the edges on the top line of this wing, just to soften it up slightly. Now I'm going in with a defining crease brush by Real Technique. I'm going to go in with this deeper shade right here. So now I'm going to deepen the crease a bit more, and I'm going to go in with this shade right here as well as this warmer shade, and I'm going to mix the two and really blend it out. Starting with the more muted shade, intensify this crease. I'm just going to wing that out. And if you notice that as I am adding more depth and more color, I'm staying away from the inner part of the eye. That's going to add a nice gradient. And because this shade is a bit more muted, it's adding more depth into the brow bone. I'm going to go in with the warmer shade now, and I'm just going to stay on the crease. I'm just going to wing that out, but I'm staying on the lower end of that crease. Same thing, so with a pencil brush, I'm going to use, this is a 219 by Sigma. So same thing, I'm gonna apply the same colors onto the wing, starting with the muted color. I'm actually gonna mix those colors together, and this time I'm going to blend it into that wing so that I'm not getting a harsh line, but I'm getting the depth that I want and need. I'm also dragging that out softly. Next, I want to go in with a little bit of this darker shade here to add a bit more depth into the crease area. I'm going to use a flat shaded brush. I'm going to make sure to wipe off as much excess as I possibly can. I'm going to flip the brush up in order to just get into that crease ever so slightly, and I'm just going to bring it up because that highlight in the center I really don't want to disturb, but I definitely want more definition in this crease area. So I'm just going to make sure to not disturb that while adding as much depth as I can and winging it out. Next, I'm going to take this shade here, and I really want to add a little bit more softness into the brow bone. And I'm going to use my MAC 217 brush because it's going to fit in that area without adding too much shade, making sure to dust any excess off my hand. I just really want to go back and soften this area, as well as add a little bit of highlight, just brightened it up underneath the eye just a little bit. So now I'm going to go back into this shade here, and I'm going to add that into the outer part of the wing. I'm really going to define this area and just blend it as I go, so that there's no harsh line, but there's definitely a gradation. And I'm gonna make sure to drag that out with less product on the outer wing. For the liner, I'm gonna go in with Lovecraft Beauty liner brush with this black shade here. I'm gonna create a really thin line to the outer edges. I'm just gonna drag that out, but I'm staying so close to the lash line. I'm also gonna take whatever is left on the brush on the inner corner as well, just following the whole lash line, but super thin, as thin as I can possibly get it, especially on the inner corner. There is some fallout, so I'm just going to use my concealer brush just to dust it off because it's a dark black. Oh no. So with that same concealer, I'm going to put a little bit on my hand and just warm it up because I really want a small amount of pigment on the brush itself, because I'm going to apply that on the inner parts of the crease, and I'm going to look straight to make sure that I get my crease right, because my eye can be just a little bit hooded. So I feel like for me, I have to overline my eye because I have to figure out, because I don't want that crease fold to disrupt my makeup. It can overlap and really screw it up. So the smallest amount, I'm looking straight to make sure that I go above my crease. And I'm gonna drag that out into that wing. And whatever is left on our brush, I'm going to blend that into the lid towards the outer edge. And then I'm also going to do right under the brow bone, but not too much. Now with a clean Ace Beauty flat shaded brush, I'm just going to blend that into the brow. Now in this case, blending a cream into the powder works effortlessly. With that same brush for the concealer, I want to set it in place. I'm going to go in with this lighter shade here before it starts creasing on me and becoming a mess. And this color matches it perfectly. It's not too light, too dark, and I'm able to really just blend out these edges so that it softens itself. I'm also making sure to go slightly carefully on the outer edge of that wing, just drag it out softly just to set it without being too much. Just in case, I'm gonna go underneath that brow bone with that same shade just to set that area as well. And to clean up and blend everything, I'm gonna use one of the brushes that I use to blend in these colors just to go into the brow bone and just add a bit more softer gradation because it's a little bit too white and ashy for me. Now I'm gonna go back into that same brush and I'm just going, that had the lighter shade on it, just to blend it again. So it's going back and forth just so that I get the color I'm looking for. And my brows aren't done, so I actually have to go in and really fix it. They're tinted, but they're not defined. And this is where the game changer, you're gonna go in and add all the shimmer that you can. I thought about using 3. I'm gonna use, this is the Fenty Rose Rave. I'm gonna use a medium shadow brush for this by Real Technique. I'm just gonna place this onto the center of the lid. It's gonna give me such a pretty high shine, especially when you're packing on different shades of glitter. It's going to really stand out the most. So I'm really making sure to stay on the center of the lid. Just really pack it on. Next, I'm gonna go in with, using the same exact brush, I'm gonna go in with Fenty's Trophy Wife, which has such a pretty golden shade that's really gonna add a bit more definition to this look. And again, I'm staying onto the center of the lid. Next, I'm gonna go in, so now I'm gonna go in with LA Girl Halo Glam. This is such a pretty, I really try to get my camera to focus, you guys, but it has, this is the LA Girl color and glitter, and it has some really pretty blue flecks in it. It really has like a creamier texture, which is nice because it's going to stick easily to the inner parts of the eye. And I really want it to brighten up that area and just really give it something to highlight. I love it. It's just adding a really high blue shine to this area. It really adds a pop of color to this neutral look. Like, I love doing like a shock factor when it comes to different colors, and this is definitely it. It just like, where did that come from? Boom. Like, how did you think of that? Yes, type of vibe. It's like you're not afraid to go out of your comfort zone by adding a color that just somehow didn't seem to fit, but you made it fit because it's the only thing. Like, if it was 2 and 3 different bright colors, it wouldn't work, but because it's one solid color that's out of the box, it just makes the whole look stand out. Next, I'm gonna go in with Kilowatt. This is also by Fenty. I'm gonna go in with this softer highlight shade right here. It's a nice, it has a satiny finish to it instead of it being a high shine. Just gonna use this crease cross culture brush to add it into the center of that wing where that highlight is. It's just gonna add a bit more sheen in that area and give that highlight. And I'm also going to add that into that crease as well. Add a nice gradation. Next, I'm gonna go in with my, if I can get it out. Okay, you guys, so don't judge me. I don't care though. This is my Feline by MAC. Like, as you can tell, I can't give it up, but it's like, why throw it away? There's still product here, okay? And aren't we using up all of our stuff? Like, yes. So I'm gonna actually tight line my waterline, and I'm really just staying on the outer corners of the eye. When I tell you Feline just goes on so effortlessly, that's why I love it. Like, that's why it's down here, because it runs, it smudges. I like wear it after 2 hours and it's like down here, but that's okay. Like, for waterline though, for waterline. I'm also gonna place that onto the top lash line, but really, really close to the lashes. And I'm gonna blend and drag it out. I'm also going to connect that to the lower lash line, but ever so slightly. For the lower lash, I'm gonna put on this beautiful eyeliner from Perfect Collab. This is called Bronze, and I'm gonna put this onto the lower lash line. Because it has a sheen to it, it really just helps to also open up your eye while adding a little bit of depth without being too heavy. So this is why I love using a bronze. It's a metallic bronze, so it's going to add some sheen underneath the eye, which is going to add a bit more light to the lower lash line as well, without being too heavy. When I tell you I love a lash primer, I love a lash primer. And when I do go without using it, I truly know the difference, notice the difference between the way my mascara wears. It's so annoying because my lashes aren't super thick, but applying a primer just allows me to have a bit more fullness. I don't know, I just can't not go without it. I'm going in with Mellow Way. This is the Ready Set primer. I don't like that it's pink. I really wish I can find a primer that's brown. Like, it being pink is cool, but sometimes different mascaras, when it dries out, it's just so hard to cover up. That's my only pet peeve with primers, that it makes it harder to blend for the most part. But I love putting this just onto the tips of the lashes, especially if I know that I might be using an older mascara that I can't really like get too far in with. But when I tell you my lashes look so long and pretty. I'm also going to apply that onto the lower lash line. While that dries, I'm going to finish up my brows. I'm going to go in with Dominique's brow pencil. And I'm just going to, being that it's tinted, I don't really have to do too much, but I definitely want a cleaner line. For my mascara, I'm going to go in with YSL, as well as this Patrick Ta mascara. I like to use multiple ones because the brushes are just different, and I like certain effects, especially when it comes to my lashes. I don't like them being stuck together. And this brush by YSL is fresh, so the formula is not as thick, and it's going to allow me to get all this extra white cast off as quickly and effortlessly as I can without touching my lids, as much as I possibly can. And I like to go down onto the brush, being that my lash is curved, so that I can really get in there, add as many coats as I can. And then I would go in with the Patrick Ta, being that I've had it a little bit. It's really going to kind of help to clean up any excess that may come on these lashes. So while that dries, I'm going to go ahead and put on some setting powder. I'm going to apply the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I'm going to make sure to put this onto the highlight parts of my face, on my forehead, down the bridge of my nose. And I'm not trying to be too neat, it doesn't matter because this is translucent, but I really just want to get it in those highlighted places first, underneath the eyes, and just really squeezing the sponge so that I don't have to get too much of this powder onto the lashes. For the blush, I'm going in with this Eloise 3D palette. This is the Secret Garden. I am again feeling some bright colors right now, so I'm gonna go in with this shade here. I just love using this shade. I'm gonna use my MAC 168 brush to pack that on to that cream that has yet to be set, because I didn't put any setting powder on that cream. I'm also going to place a little bit of this into the brows, to the outer edge, just to give it a soft blush, just to add a little bit of balance. Like, it's so pretty. For the powder, I'm gonna go in with my Laura Mercier's contour kit. I'm just gonna get my sponge and blend that in just to add a bit more depth into those crease areas. I like squeezing the sponge and really just getting in there so it's not going on too wide and spreading itself out more than I want it to. And I'm just gonna make sure I go into a point as well as underneath the chin. I'm also gonna take my Caramel Cutie that I love to use for my nose, Go figure. And I'm gonna go into the brows as I have to. I just really loved connecting my shadows so that everything just kind of looks seamless. I'm gonna take that down to the point of my nose as well as underneath and just curve it in. Sometimes I feel like I can be a little bit too heavy-handed, so I would take my concealer brush and just really soften out the side because I don't want to see it. As well as on top, I would touch it a few times. I'm also going to do a little bit of the blush brush just into the center. That's it. Now I'm going to take the rest of that mascara for the bottom lash line. So for my lashes, I decided to go in with something that's not going to take away from the look. I love these natural flares just for that. So I'm going to apply my lashes and I'll be back. Look at the effect these lashes have. I'm telling you guys, you need to try this look. You're going to love every bit of it. So sometimes I like to take my mascara and put it onto the lower lash so that my lashes can blend into it. I would use the point of the brush sometimes if it doesn't really get in the way that I want it to. I'm also using it to lift the corner as well because why not? I also like going on the inner part of the eye just so that my lashes can really blend in to those falsies. Next I'm going in with the bronzer that I wanted to try earlier. The Give, is it called Give? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going in with this bronzer. I'm gonna pretty much apply this on the contours of the face. I'm gonna use my Tarte angle brush that I love using for contour and really just pack that on so that I can bronze in the center of where I put that highlight and the deeper contour. And I'm really just going to go over that blush just slightly. This is where I would go down closer to the lip. I don't think you should be afraid of bronzer. If you are, don't, because it really just adds a warmth to your skin. If you feel like you have done too much, it's too highlighted, because sometimes in the bright light you can't really tell that your highlight or foundation is too light for you. Go in with some bronzer and really just help it to warm it up. Like even here, I feel like it looks a little bit ashy, so I will go in with my bronzer and just add a little bit, just so that it can warm it up a little bit more, as well as underneath the eye. I like to use this to kind of like really add some tan to my skin. With a smudger brush, I'm also going to take that onto the lower lash and just really add a little bit more warmth underneath here. It's really going to tie this look together with everything that's going on. I also thought about it, and I'm going to put a little bit of that blush into the temples just to add a bit more height, and it just does something. I don't know, like I love the balance that it gives to the look. With the same smudger brush, I'm going to go into this reddish or brownish color here for the lower lash line as well. And I'm telling you, like, red browns look good on everyone. I'm just gonna blend those two colors together. So if I was you, I would definitely get a red brown in my collection because it just, you really can't go wrong. So I'm gonna rehydrate and redo this whole look, and I love using the Beauty Blender Redo because it just refreshes and really add a dewiness that, I don't know, like it just helps the makeup to melt together. Let me show you. And it gives such a fine finish, like you don't even know you're spraying it. Real talk, look. Oh my goodness, it's so nice. It's so nice, you guys. So for my lips, I wanted to add like a nice cool pinky shade. I'm actually going to use 3 colors. The first one is MAC In Sync, and the next one is MAC's Boldly Bare, and this is a number 7 𝒏𝒄𝒆𝒔 that I got from Amazon. I'm starting with the In Sync color, which is the brightest of them shades. I'm really just applying this onto the center of the lid, really all over. I'm just gonna blend the edges out with my finger because it is bright, you know, like it is giving me white lips, but don't worry, there's a method to my madness. Next, I'm gonna go in with the Boldly Bare by MAC, and I'm going to outline my lid, staying on the inner corner as well. Next, going in with the darker shade, and I'm going to overline the lid. But for the inner corners, I'm trying to stay closer to the inner part of the lip and not overline that too much. gonna overline the bottom as well and take it on the inner part of the lip and just bring it in, especially on the top. I'm gonna use a lip brush by Real Technique, and I'm gonna go in with this MAC palette. I'm gonna do this color right here, and I'm really gonna pack that into the brush before placing that onto the center of the lip. I'm just adding that depth of pink. It's still on the cooler side, but it's a little bit warmer to really help with my complexion. And that pencil, because it's bright enough, it's not gonna actually dull this look out. It's gonna help that shade to stay as pink as it can, more true to color. I'm just gonna use that lip brush to blend those pencils together. I'm gonna go on the outer edge of the lip just so that everything looks cohesive. We're gonna put on this setting spray by Dazzle Me. This is Get a Grip Long Lasting Oil Controlling, which is why I love using this for the last finishing touches. Alright, so that is it, you guys, for this look. I hope you have a chance to recreate this look yourself. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And don't worry, I come out with videos every single week. And if you haven't already, check out these 2 videos down below. Till next time, please like, thumbs up, and subscribe. Bye, beauties.